We've got a few people in here who are not quite sure yet whether this stuff is of any relevance whatsoever. So I've just got a couple of questions, and I'll ask you guys if you can be really short, sharp, and succinct with these answers. I'm going to go over here because there's a bit more room. Short, sharp, and succinct. Just the first question, I'm going to ask each of you in turn, give me something short. How do you think the finance industry has really embraced social media? Are there any opportunities, or are we really thinking we're a bit too fearful of this? What are your thoughts on this?
With my limited experience with the financial sector has been with development finance. So I'm in the real estate market, and my experience with them has been phone calls, meetings, face-to-face. I generally don't do any kind of social networking with the finance sectors that I'm dealing with.
Okay.
So that's my limited experience with them.
No problems? What's you?
I would say it's a little bit like this panel. There's half that certainly have embraced it, do embrace it, and half that don't. And I think there's two reasons why. One is that concern of this negative tweets, whatever you call it. But as you quite rightly say, how can that be dealt with? Tweets or whatever. So that would be my... And I think the other one is, I mean, from my point of view, you know, the actual technology to do it, the understanding of exactly what you have to do to set up to be able to tweet. Yeah. And I think that probably puts some people off. Certainly the older generation, I would guess.
Yeah. Okay.
For me, I think the financial industry, half it has embraced it, but it's embraced it to try and market, to sell, like traditionally, and that doesn't work because people don't believe that anymore. So I think it has to move on to being exactly what it is, a medium for social interaction, that people make their own decisions. Yeah. It doesn't work trying to push a product through social media. It simply doesn't work.
I think that's quite an important point. There is a perception this is all really is just a marketing tool at the end of the day, when in fact that's only one of the many ways that you can use this. Probably the single best way to use social media as a learning tool, just to get in there and learn and listen. Another way, what we tend to do on our site, IFA Life, is to use it as a sharing best practice tool. So there's lots of people going in there and they are learning. There are others that are sharing their experience, helping and supporting each other. David, what do you think?
Hi, I'm David from Web Optimizer, and I'm complete and utter fan, convert, believer. I have multiple blogs, do it every time. I wake up to Twitter. I did a search just yesterday. I typed in the term independent financial advisor, and there had been, at that point, something like 80 Twitters in the last 2 minutes. So is the financial services industry using Twitter and social media? Absolutely. And I think the opportunity is here we're at the beginning of the cycle, of the period. There is an opportunity, and it's about to become extremely crowded, and you need to really get into it and embrace it, because one half of it certainly is embracing it, and the other half are going to be left out in the cold.
Yeah. Thank you. Martin, you love it, I know it.
I do, yeah. I think it's all very new, though. So a lot of people have kind of dipped their toe in the water and not really gone beyond that. I think there's a huge opportunity to speak to very knowledgeable people very directly. So it's worth getting in there and just listening and kind of introducing yourself to people. Yeah. And once you've got the confidence and you can start to develop your own voice, then you can move on, and then you can start broadcasting what you've learned a little bit. Yeah. And eventually comes the marketing.
So going back the other way then, so what do you see as the main benefits of social media?
I think it's the ability to learn faster. You've got this kind of real-time thing that's developed now. Yeah. You've got obviously blogging, so you can publish great, useful information. But with Twitter and some of the other technologies, it's instant. Yeah. If someone finds a solution to a problem, they publish it, and then they say, not quite sure how to take it to the next level. Yeah. Someone else dives in straight away, and I think, you know, that's really going to push human learning.
It's a really interesting thing. I mean, Twitter has taken the world by storm. It's the fastest growing thing on the internet right now, and started life. The guy who created it, Jack Dorsey, the idea he just wanted to know what his mates were up to at any particular moment in time. Unfortunately, the kids didn't really go for Twitter at all. They decided to go off to Facebook, which has a much richer medium, much richer media environment. But it was us oldies that suddenly embraced Twitter and are now using it as a communication tool, as a sharing tool to shout at brands when we're upset with them. And just out of interest, how many of you, hands up if you've got a Facebook account? Just quick show of hands. Very interesting. Okay, of those of you who've got a Facebook page, how many of you got a business Facebook page? Ah, very different, very different. Worth learning about business Facebook page. Whilst your personal Facebook pages are invisible to Google, other than just your name, a business Facebook page, or a fan page, as some people call it, is highly, highly visible to Google. David's much more of an expert on this, I'm sure. But you can get you onto the first page of Google results within 10 days for your area of expertise, providing you add relevant content. What do you see, David, as benefits of social media?
Benefits of social media. I think there's two primary activities. One is actually to listen, and the second one is to engage. And in a normal conversation, what we tend to do is we listen first and talk second. And that's really what we need to do when we use Twitter for Business. So in those tweets that I looked at last night, and there was 20 on the page, there was a lot of those tweets just offering jobs in financial services, fair enough. There were a couple of people suggesting that they were looking for an IFA. And obviously, by listening, you can find those leads. When you can see what people are asking for, then you can fundamentally present information to the market that the market wants. And my route to engagement is through education. And I think that that's a route that's very familiar to the financial services industry. So it's really about using the tools that you've got across this technology.
On a bit more sceptical side, do you see benefits in it, or would you prefer to answer the question, what do you see as the disadvantages of it?
For me, it's education. Financial services, really it's just telling people what we do, give them the information, let them make their own minds up. More than anything else, step back from saying you have to buy this because X, Y, Z. Give them the information, let them make up their own minds. Yeah. And that's it, really. That's the start, and then we'll see how we get on.
Okay.
I think for me, and I'm not sure it was on that video, but I think the lack of trust in adverts is unbelievable now. People don't believe adverts. And if you think about it, when you try and select something, whatever it is, you go on recommendations. But the point is your friends, I'm starting to sound converted actually, aren't I? But I mean, you know, you've got friends for certain things, but there are things that you want to do that maybe in a different country, and you want to look at referrals. So I think the main benefit is to look at what people are saying. Yeah. And so it is sort of listening and you know, picking up on what's good or bad about a product, certainly. Yeah.
Yourself, Joseph, what do you feel?
As the reach, my understanding of social networking as far as an online activity is to get out exponentially to the most amount of people in the quickest amount of time. Yeah. My company generally deals with select partnerships and face-to-face relationships. So what my role is, I guess the reason I'm on this panel, is that I have a roundtable social networking event, and I want to take that physical event into the online spectrum and do that in a way that's cautious in maintaining your exclusivity, but at the same time reaching the people that really matter.
Do you think there's that, just we'll ask this question to everybody, do you think we're all getting a bit overexcited about this? Just because, you know, it's growing at a colossal rate. Do you think there's any urgency? Do you think we're missing out by sitting here tonight? We should all be on our computers instead?
Urgency, no. I think it's a revolution in communication. And like most revolutions, they start off quick and then get gradual. Yeah. It'll go like this, and then a gradual growth after that. I don't think there's any immediate urgency to get on board now, but I definitely think there's an urgency to listen and to educate yourself on it. I don't myself have a Twitter account, but again, using the vehicle with Inspired, I've incorporated the RSS feed into my website so that I can benefit from the communication that they're actually doing. So yeah. It's urgent for me because I want to be able to find out what is going on, what the general consensus is, be able to understand the market better. Yeah. My job is a partnership between private and public sector, so being able to understand what the nation's thinking is important too. Yeah.